Hello all, I am Ram Kumar Singh once again, and I welcome you all in the third part of this series, where we will see how to install SQL Server. In our previous videos, we have seen how to build the virtual machines, how to bring in those machines into some domain, then building the Windows Server cluster. In this video, we will see how to install SQL Server on Failover cluster. And that can be started from any of the node. That does not matter whether it is node 1 or node 2. So I am going to start it with the node 1, and I have copied the software setup on my local drive, that is on C. So I just need to go on to setup and right click and click on run as administrator. It will take few moments. Okay, so in this page you need to go to installation tab, and here you can see there are 4 different options. So very first option is very simple, that is to install standalone SQL Server. But if you want to install SQL Server on cluster, then you will have to use this option. But this option is to use the first time only. On all other node you will have to use this add node option. Fourth and last option is to upgrade SQL Server to a newer version, in fact to 2012, and you can see there is no option for SQL Server 2000. So that means that you cannot upgrade SQL Server 2000 to 2012. So since we are installing SQL Server Failover cluster, so I am going to click on this option. It is running some setup rules, so you can see all these rules are passed. That is why this OK button is enabled. If there was some error, then this button will be grayed out, so you cannot proceed unless all these options are passed. So we do not need to check this option, and this is a new feature in SQL Server 2012. So what this checking this option means, that it will automatically check the SQL Server updates online and then download those. It takes some time. Once again, this is to check some set of support rules, so hopefully all will be pass. You don't need to worry about the warnings. So what all you need to worry is the errors, and here is no error, so all seems fine. Just click on next, I accept the license terms, and then next. Okay, so now comes the features. you don't need to select all the features, since we do not need all the features to get installed, and that is the best practices to that's best practice to install only those features which are going to we use in near future. Of course, if you require some feature which is not installed, then you can always add on later on. So I will remove all the features which are not going to use right now. This is also not required, neither of any of these. So seems okay now. Click on next. Okay, so here you need to provide some virtual network name. So let me have it like VIP SQL, VIP for virtual IP, and let me give some instance name over here. So let's say it inst01. Okay, so we got some error here. This says there are validation errors. This just click on this error. The network address is invalid. Okay, we cannot proceed unless this error is rectified. Okay, so it seems something is stopping this thing to create network name on a DC. So okay, so I believe this is the issue with the virtual box in guest editions. So since I had installed guest edition, so that might be causing that issue. So what I need to do, I need to remove these guest editions. I'll get SQL Server installed, and then again I can install guest editions. So but for now I just need to remove this. Okay, so it seems that can be removed from control panel only. Go to programs. Let me check if that feature can be seen here and can be removed. Okay, so you can see VirtualBox Get Edition is here. So I'm going to install it. Similarly, I will remove this from DC and from other node also. It seems I will have to reboot the servers and start the installation once again. Just click on right click and install, and I need to do it for node 2 also. Okay, shit. So we need to restart the server. Okay, go ahead. Let me remove this from node 2 also. But the problem is we cannot even live without guest edition, since we need to copy the software, we need to drag and drop the things. So that is the only way. So first of all we will install the VirtualBox guest editions, we will copy the software, then we will remove the VirtualBox guest editions, and then we will install the SQL Server. So this is the one thing we cannot live with, and we cannot live without it. Okay, so servers are the online back. Okay, so I'm going to add that particular step on this list. And then okay, great. So I'm again on this virtual machine node 1, and I'm going to initiate the SQL Server setup once again. I hope we will succeed this time. Okay, so now I'm not going to explain all these things once again, since I have already done. So I will just keep clicking. Okay, so click on OK. And check the downloading of these SQL Server updates.
पतंजलि आटा नूडल्स, इसमें है असली आटा फाइबर, राइस ब्रान ऑयल और वेजिटेबल्स के गुण। पतंजलि नूडल्स 10 रुपए में।
Click on next. I will again choose only those features which I need right now. No extra features required. All these features will be fine. Click on next. Okay, so once again we are at the same page. Let me give the network name this time and see what happens. Let's keep fingers crossed. It seems it is working this time. Okay, great. All right. So now this page is to just calculate the available disk and what all disk space is required. The screen shows the required space is available. Coming next, so this service will get installed. At this particular page we need to select the disk, what all disk is to be included into SQL Server role. So we just need to check how many disks are there. So we had created 4 virtual disks. So one virtual disk is to be used for cluster quorum. Rest 3 disks are free, so we just need to check which one is for data and log. Hopefully it should be cluster disk 1, cluster disk 2 only. All right. So I do not find any option over here. I'm just going to have cluster disk 1, cluster disk 2. So I need to click on IPv4 and provide one IP address over here and that is for virtual IP for SQL Server. So 192.168.1. Let's have 14. Okay, so these four SQL services will get created, and here we need to provide the service account name. I am going to use Clue admin as service account. Here I need to pass the password for this. Just remember this, these services need to be manual only. You don't need to change it to automatic mode. Let's keep the default collation only. No need to make any changes to collation. So it would be SQL Latin General CP1 CIAS, and then click on next. So only one service is in automatic mode, but SQL Server agent and database engine is going to in manual mode only. Here we need to select whether to be in with Windows authentication or mixed mode. So let's have this SQL in mixed mode, and here we need to set password for SA. I can add current user, add administrator, data directory. So this is also very important, where we need to set the directories for data and log. So let me check how many disks I have got. Okay, so there are two different disks, data F and log L. So I'll just provide F and L for data and log respectively. Q is not there. It seems I have selected the Q, but I can still change it. So I'm going to have all data files in F drive and all log files in L drive. File stream I will just enable for now. I will check why this is showing as error. Okay, so that's in the issue. It looks like I selected the wrong drive. So L is not there, and maybe it was the Q only. Nope, F is fine. So I just need to make changes to L drive. It should be okay now. And let's check what is the issue here in this tab. Okay, so you can see the length of the password is not same, so that is the mismatch. It should be okay now. Alright, so it is all set to get installed and ready to install. So this is the location where all these SQL Server installation files or logs are presented. So you can, if your installation get fail or your service pack gets fail or some patches failing, then you can always look for this location, and here you will find some installation logs. And whatever setting I have provided by this time, so that setting is saved into this configuration file. From now onwards, this SQL Server will get installed from that configuration file only. So all I need to click on install, and if there is some issue with the installation, then you can check this location. So you just need to remember this location also, Microsoft SQL Server in C program files 110, that is for SQL Server 2012. For 2014 it will be 120, and on similarly for 2016. And for under setup bootstrap, then log. So here you can see two different files. Summary is for just as the name is saying, that is the summary, and if you want the details, then each of the folder you will see the detail file. Details. So installation is just started, so you will see a lot of files over there, and for each installation file folders are getting created. So you can see I tried it in morning and so on. So you can see that is the reason you can see multiple folders here. So SQL Server installation has just started, and it is expected to take 20 to 30 minutes for the full-fledged installation. That is the first installation. Afterwards, when adding the node to SQL Server Failover cluster, it will take half of the time only. So that will take almost 5 to 10 minutes, but this installation is going to take a huge time. So I'm going to pause this, and as soon as this will get complete, or it would be about to complete, I'll resume this video. Okay, so installing of file stream.
So what I did, I initiated a reinstall without the feature of file stream, but again it is getting failed. But this time SQL Server got installed, but some shared features were not properly. So here you can see SQL Server database engine services succeeded, while different shared features like management tools, the SSMS, backward compatibility, all these got failed. So anyway, we can survive without those services, although these are required while working in SQL Server. But for now, we can just leave it like that only. And now you can see the failover cluster. In the failover cluster manager, you will see one role here, SQL Server inst01, but there is no benefit. We cannot obtain a benefit of high installed on node 1 only. What we need to do, we need to install, just need to install SQL Server, and we need to do that using this third option. And so what this will just add this node to SQL Server Failover cluster, which we have just installed. So we are doing this on node 2, and we just need to click on this option. Okay, so it runs some rules. Alright, so next screen is there. Need to click on next, accept the license terms, click on next, and remove the product update feature, and click on next once again. So it will install the setup support files here.
Alright, so this new page is here now, and you can see, since we are not installing a new failover cluster, but we are just adding this node to existing failover cluster. That is why you can see these few options only. Earlier we were having a lot of options for the full-fledged failover cluster installation. So this will not ask us more details, since all the details we have already provided in the first installation. Now we are just adding this node to existing failover cluster, so this is going to ask very few details, and to be precise, the service account details only. Alright, so we don't need to make any changes here. This details are already provided by us. Alright, so this is the only place where we need to give some input. So we need, the service account is already given there, so we just need to enter the password for this, and here, and click on next. Next once again. And that's it. So this is summarizing the things, and click on install, and it will start installing SQL Server, adding this node to SQL Server. What it does, it installs SQL Server basic files, that is the binaries only. So I'm going to pause this video.
Okay, so let's see if this installation is completed now. Okay, great. So you can see we have added this node to the already installed failover cluster, and this time these shared features also got installed successfully, so there seems no issue now, and the database engine also got successful. So on one node we got these features failed, and on the other node everything got successfully completed. Okay, so let's finish. If you want to see the installation logs, so here is the path, and this is the same path I told you earlier: C, program files, Microsoft SQL Server 110, setup, bootstrap, log, and the folder for the installation. So you can see the final result that is passed here. So it is saying that it got completed successfully. Let's check the failover cluster manager now. This is the failover cluster manager, and let's see how many roles are installed there. Okay, so this single SQL Server installation is there, and instance name is inst1, where its virtual network name is VIP SQL 2012, and IP address for that one is 1.1.5, and this particular SQL Server instance is running on node 1, and while we are on node 2. If we want to fail over this, so you can easily do this from here, move and to, so we can select the node 2,
And since this SQL Server instance is running on node 1 and we are on node 2, so all those shared disk will not be seen here. Then those disk will be presented to node 1 since the SQL Server instance is running on that node. So these you can see instances and shared disk are not here. But if we fail over SQL Server instance, then those disk also will fail over to this node, to node 2. So let's go and do this. Just right click on this, move, and then select node. So there is single node 2 to get it fail over. Just click on OK. So what this will do, it will get offline and then again, but on different node. As of now this is on node 1, but once online you will see it will be online on node 2. So we change now to node 2 and this is still pending, so it is coming online. It is taking time to come online. Meanwhile, let's go and open SQL Management Studio. This is still down. So okay, so we got one disk fail over here. Similarly, other disk will also be in some time. Okay, so SQL Server instance is online now. It is running, you can see, and that is running on node 2. So if we see this SQL Server services under services.msc, oops, I got it wrong spelled. And by this time all disk will also be there. So, okay, I got it. So what happened, if you remember, the SQL Server disk was not there, so we assigned the single disk while installing restarting the installation. So I had assigned a single disk only. So you will find all the data files and log files in this folder only. Let's go and confirm. Okay, so you can see both the data files and log files are there. Earlier what happened, I had selected for different disk for different things like for data and log, but when it got failed first on my first attempt, so in my second attempt no disk was presented there, so I had to select only a single disk. And you can see SQL Server instance is in running mode here, and that is in manual, and it should be manual only. Okay, so meanwhile this SQL Server in Management Studio is also open, and I'm going to connect to SQL Server now. So either we can do using like this, using name. So this is the network name and then instance name, or what we can do, we can provide the IP addresses also, and that was 15, I guess. Okay, so got connected. Similarly, either in place of this network name, we can use IP address also. So that is 192.168.1.15. So we we can check the IP address, virtual IP address from this location. Okay, so there seems some issue because it is not getting connected using this IP address, but that is not an issue. All we wanted to see is the SQL Server get installed and we can connect using word network name. So there might be some issue behind AD, so that is not part of this lesson. So that's all for this series of SQL Server Failover cluster installation, and we will continue for next classes. Thank you.